When the alchemists failed, the kings turned to discipline. You've been chasing money like a beggar at a feast, grasping, waiting, hoping, while wealth only bows to the one who commands himself first. For the next 30 days, you will harden 7 simple habits into steel, and the world will answer as if a secret lever has been pulled. Napoleon Hill mapped this path in the shadows of giants. You will walk it in daylight, with your name on the door. Act with ruthless consistency, pray as if heaven is your partner, and watch opportunity move toward you like iron to a magnet. Begin now, and wealth will begin obeying you. The room is dark. A single lamp throws amber light across the desk. You stand there, not moving, not touching anything, but the space obeys you. Your eyes close. A single phrase rises, silent and absolute. I am the standard. The air itself seems to listen. Cut. Morning. You're seated in a boardroom, calm, present. The decision falls your way without a fight, without a plea. This is what happens when you cross the altar of command before the world demands anything of you. Wealth does not negotiate. It does not barter with the anxious or comfort the uncertain. It moves toward order, toward the person who has become a law unto himself. You have spent years chasing it like a beggar at a feast, hand outstretched, voice trembling, hoping someone will notice your need. That ends here. The alchemists failed because they sought to change matter without first mastering themselves. You will not fail. You will not beg. You will command, and the world will answer. This is not metaphor. This is mechanics. For the next 30 days, you will forge 7 habits into something unbreakable, something that does not bend when pressure arrives. These are not tips. They are not suggestions whispered by someone who hopes you succeed. These are iron rules, and they will reshape your identity from the inside out. Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the wealthiest, most powerful people on earth. He did not find luck. He did not find talent. He found law. The law of the prepared mind, the law of relentless motion, the law of inner authority that refuses to compromise. You will walk 3 territories. First, you will claim the law of consciousness, the absolute mastery of your interior space, where noise dies and clarity is born. Second, you will install the ritual of the master, the daily movement that turns intention into inevitability. Third, you will establish the unbreakable link, the partnership with something greater than yourself, where faith becomes action and action becomes result. At the end of this path, I will hand you the exact checklist of attraction, the audit that proves you have become someone wealth recognizes. You will see opportunity pulled toward you, not because you deserve it, but because you have become magnetic. The beggar grabs. The master lifts his hands over the altar of command and declares, that is the first habit, that is the first law. Silence the phone. Silence the neighbor. Silence yourself. The noise is not neutral. It is a parasite. It feeds on your attention and leaves you hollowed out, reactive, fragile. Marcus Aurelius did not conquer an empire with armies alone. He conquered it with a diary, with the quietude of a mind that refused to be dragged into chaos. The empire began in the silence of his interior. Every morning, before the generals arrived, before the Senate demanded answers, he sat and wrote. He commanded himself. That made him fit to command the world. Your mind is the only channel through which the great design can reach you. If that channel is clogged with notifications, opinions, and the static hum of other people's urgency, nothing sacred will ever arrive. You cannot hear the whisper of insight when you are drowning in noise. You cannot feel the pull of opportunity when your attention is fractured into 1,000 irrelevant pieces. The first habit is not meditation. It is negation. You must deny the chaos absolute access to your consciousness. You must build a fortress of focus, and you must guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Declare what you are, not what you want. This is the shift that breaks most people. They wake up and immediately begin negotiating with reality. I want more money. I want respect. I want peace. Want is the language of lack. Want is a confession that you do not already possess authority. The master does not want. The master declares, I am the standard. I am the authority in my own life. I am the center from which all action flows. That is not arrogance, that is alignment. You are not lying. You are installing the operating system of power. You are teaching your nervous system to hold a frequency that the world recognizes as command. Noise is weakness. Silence is the forge. Do not negotiate the morning. The first hour of the day is sacred territory. If you give it away to email, to scrolling, to reaction, you have already lost. You have handed the reins to the world, and the world will drag you wherever it pleases. The field of life, the invisible architecture of cause and effect, only recognizes commands issued from a center of unshakable authority. It does not respond to requests. It does not pity the uncertain. If you emit the frequency of doubt, of "I hope this works," the field reflects that back to you as delay, as friction, as closed doors. If you ignore this, you will be a prophet shouting orders in a crowded marketplace, and no one will hear you. Your words will dissolve into the din. Your intentions will evaporate before they solidify. You will live your entire life wondering why effort does not translate into result, never realizing that your signal was corrupted at the source. The world is not ignoring you because it is cruel. It is ignoring you because your transmission is weak, distorted, mixed with static. Clean the channel, guard the morning, speak from silence, and the world will lean in. If you are here for real, not as a spectator, not as someone collecting information to think about later, comment the word ready. Presence creates identity. You are not ready because you feel ready. You are ready because you decide right now that readiness is no longer optional. Are you ready, or are you still pending? The consciousness is clean. The interior space is claimed. Now the altar of command demands an offering. That offering is the ritual. Habit and ritual are not prisons. They are not the enemy of freedom. They are the steel beam that holds up the roof of your ambition when the weight becomes unbearable. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times. He did not collapse into despair because the ritual, the disciplined, repeatable structure of inquiry, allowed every failure to be a step forward, not a dead end. The ritual protected him from himself. It kept him moving when emotions screamed for him to stop. What is on the agenda is in your life. What is not on the agenda does not exist. This is brutal clarity, and most people cannot handle it. They want to believe that things will happen when the time is right, that opportunities will arrive when they are meant to. That is superstition dressed as wisdom. The time is right when you make it right. The opportunity arrives when you create the conditions for its arrival. Your calendar is not a suggestion. It is a map. It is the blueprint of your future, drawn one day at a time. If wealth is not on the calendar, wealth will not appear in your account. If mastery is not on the calendar, you will remain amateur forever. Audit your daily journey coldly. Do not lie to yourself. Do not soften the truth with excuses or explanations. At the end of each day, look at what you did, not at what you intended to do. Intention without action is delusion. The ritual of the master is not about feeling productive. It is about being accountable to the version of yourself who decided that this path was non-negotiable. There is no maybe when it comes to commitment. Either the action happened or it did not. Either you kept your word to yourself or you broke it. The universe does not grade on effort. It grades on motion. Movement without ritual is chaos. You might work 14 hours and produce nothing of value because your energy is scattered, reactive, pulled in every direction by the loudest voice. The commitment is to time, not to outcome. You cannot control whether the deal closes. You cannot control whether the client says yes. But you can control whether you show up, whether you execute the plan, whether you move the needle forward by one deliberate inch. That inch, repeated, becomes a mile. That mile, repeated, becomes a continent. Your calendar is the map. The law is motion. Do not stop. If you ignore this, you will have the destiny of the firefly, intense random bursts of light, but no trajectory, no destination. You will work hard and wonder why the results are inconsistent, never realizing that effort without structure is just noise in a different form. The inertia of wealth is real. It resists motion. It does not move for wishes. It only moves for a force greater than itself, and that force is the weight of your constant habit, day after day, unbroken, relentless. Ritual is not the enemy of spontaneity. It is the foundation that makes spontaneity possible. When the base is solid, you can improvise. When the base is chaos, improvisation is just another word for panic. You have cleaned the mind. You have anchored the motion. Now the altar of command opens to partnership. Wealth only flows to the one who acts as a partner of the universe, not as a debtor. This is the attitude of practical faith. Faith is not passive. It is not hoping that things work out while you sit and wait. Faith is the declaration that the outcome is already decided, and your job is to move as if that truth is already visible. The Temple of Solomon was designed in complete detail before the first stone was laid. The architects did not wait for proof. They did not pause to see if the resources would arrive. They acted as if the completion was inevitable, and the resources followed. The conviction preceded the evidence. That is law. Do not wait for the opportunity. Declare it. Speak it into existence with your actions, with your posture, with the way you move through the world. When you act as if the deal is already done, as if the result is already secured, you emit a frequency of certainty. That frequency is magnetic. People feel it. Circumstances bend toward it. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly become obvious. This is not magic. This is alignment. You are no longer vibrating at the frequency of need. You are vibrating at the frequency of possession. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to authority. Act as if it has already been delivered. If you were already wealthy, how would you walk into that meeting? If you were already respected, how would you speak to that client? If you were already powerful, how would you spend your morning? Do that now. Do not wait for permission from reality. Reality is waiting for permission from you. Fear is the confession of debt. When you are afraid, you are admitting that you do not believe you are owed what you are asking for. You are positioning yourself as the borrower, the one who must convince the lender to take a risk. The master does not borrow. The master claims, I partner with power. This is mine by right of alignment, by right of preparation, by right of relentless action. If you ignore this, your energy will betray you. You can have the perfect strategy, the flawless pitch, the ideal timing, and still fail, because your vibration is the vibration of the beggar. You attract the mirror of your inner state. If you feel lack, you will attract lack. If you feel certainty, you will attract confirmation. The universe is not moral, it is mechanical. It reflects. Dominion over the material world is a direct reflection of dominion over the spirit. Prayer becomes action. Action becomes result. That is the law of the unbreakable link. You are not alone in this. You are in partnership with the force that built galaxies. Act like it, but you will resist. You will say, I don't have time for 7 new habits. My life is already too heavy. The weight you feel is not from action, it is from doubt. You spend more energy arguing with discipline than you would spend executing it. The exhaustion comes from indecision, from the constant negotiation with yourself about whether today is the day you start. That negotiation costs you more than the work ever could. Choose the field. You can carry the fatigue of uncertainty, or you can carry the power of the law. One crushes you, the other builds you. Discipline does not imprison. Discipline liberates. It removes the tyranny of choice and replaces it with the clarity of commitment. You will say, what if I fail? What if I do this for 30 days and nothing changes? Then you will have become someone who keeps their word for 30 days, and that alone will change everything. The external result is secondary. The internal transformation is primary. You are not doing this to get rich. You are doing this to become the kind of person wealth recognizes. The result is inevitable once the identity shifts. You will say, this sounds like just another mantra, another affirmation that doesn't work. Mantras do not work when they are whispered without belief, without emotion, without the full weight of your conviction behind them. But when you speak a command with every cell of your being aligned, when you feel it as truth before it is visible, the mantra becomes a broadcast. It becomes a signal that the field cannot ignore. You will say, "I've tried this before. I've been disciplined before, and it didn't last." Because you were negotiating. You were trying discipline on for size, seeing if it fit, checking whether it felt comfortable. Comfort is not the goal. Power is the goal. Discipline is not supposed to feel good at first. It is supposed to feel like resistance, like the breaking of an old pattern that no longer serves you. That discomfort is proof that you are changing. If it were easy, everyone would do it, and there would be no reward for those who endure. You will say, "I don't see results fast enough. I need proof that this works before I commit fully." That is the logic of the slave, not the master. The master commits fully first, and the proof follows. You do not get to audit the universe before you pay the price. The price is faith in motion, action without guarantee, the willingness to move when the path is still dark. If you wait for certainty, you will wait forever, because certainty only arrives for those who move without it. You will say, "What if people laugh at me? What if I declare these things and nothing happens, and I look like a fool?" Then you will learn that the opinion of spectators means nothing. The crowd does not build empires. The crowd watches from the bleachers while the arena belongs to those willing to risk humiliation in pursuit of mastery. Their laughter is proof that you are moving while they are standing still. Let them laugh. You will be too busy building to hear it. The ritual is not complex. Complexity is the refuge of those who want an excuse not to start. This is simple. This is 11 minutes. If you cannot give 11 minutes, you are not serious. You are pretending. The ritual of the master begins the moment you open your eyes, before the phone, before the noise, before the world makes its demands. You reach for the checklist of 7 habits. You read it aloud, 30 seconds. That is all. You are not meditating on it. You are not hoping it sinks in. You are reminding your nervous system what the law is today. This is the anchor. This is the reset button that pulls you back to center before gravity pulls you into chaos. Then you repeat the command phrase 3 times, and you do not whisper it like a prayer from a frightened child. You say it with the full force of your conviction. I am the standard. You feel it in your chest. You let the emotion rise, not fake enthusiasm, but the deep, quiet knowing that this is true whether the world agrees or not. You say it again. I am the standard. The second time, it is louder inside you. The third time, it is law. This is not affirmation. This is installation. You are programming the operating system of your identity, and repetition is the code. 5 minutes of visualization. You close your eyes, and you do not imagine some distant, vague future where things are better. You see the exact scene of your greatest success today. You see the meeting. You see the conversation. You see the moment the opportunity opens, and you see yourself moving through it with calm, with certainty, with the posture of someone who expected it. You feel the emotion of that moment as if it is happening right now. Gratitude, excitement, the deep satisfaction of alignment. This is not daydreaming. This is rehearsal. Your nervous system does not know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. You are training your body to recognize success so that when it arrives in the physical world, you do not freeze. You do not doubt. You move. At night, 3 minutes. You breathe. 3 deep breaths, slow and deliberate, pulling yourself out of the reactive state the day demanded of you. Then you write 1 sentence, 1 piece of evidence that the magnet worked today. Maybe it was the email that arrived at the exact right time. Maybe it was the conversation that opened a door you did not know existed. Maybe it was the clarity that struck in the middle of chaos. You write it down. This is not gratitude journaling. This is evidence collection. You are building a case that the law works, and every night you add another exhibit. Over 30 days, you will have 30 pieces of proof, and doubt will have nowhere left to hide. The rhythm is 30 days, then 60, then 90. You are not sprinting. You are building a structure that lasts. 30 days installs the habit. 60 days installs the identity. 90 days installs the inevitability. You do not need perfection. You need consistency. 85 to 90% adherence each week. That is the threshold. If you hit that mark, the compound effect takes over. If you fall below it, you are still negotiating, still testing whether this is real. The universe does not respond to tests. It responds to commitment. Every Sunday at 6 in the evening, you audit. You sit with the week. You look at the calendar. You count the days you kept your word. You do not lie. You do not soften the numbers with excuses. You look at the data coldly, the way a surgeon looks at an X-ray. If the adherence is high, you acknowledge it. If it is low, you adjust. You do not collapse into shame. You do not tell yourself you are broken. You simply tighten the system. Maybe the morning ritual needs to happen 10 minutes earlier. Maybe the evening audit needs a different trigger. You iterate. You refine. You do not quit. What gets measured gets manifested. This is not mysticism. This is mechanics. When you track the habit, you make it real. When you audit the week, you hold yourself accountable to the version of you who decided this mattered. The repetition that is felt, paired with the audit that is cold, is the only bridge between thought and the material manifestation of wealth. One without the other is incomplete. Emotion without structure is chaos. Structure without emotion is dead. You need both. You need the fire of conviction and the ice of discipline, working together every single day until the gap between intention and reality closes completely. The mirror becomes your witness. Every morning after the visualization, you stand in front of it. You look yourself in the eye. You do not look away. You do not flinch. You speak 11 lines, and you speak them as law, not as hope. I am the one who keeps my word. I am the one who does not break under pressure. I am the one who commands my mind before the world commands my time. I am the one who moves when others wait. I am the one who declares and then acts. I am the one who does not beg for permission. I am the one who partners with power, not with fear. I am the one who sees opportunity as inevitable, not as luck. I am the one who audits without mercy and adjusts without excuses. I am the one who builds in silence and emerges with proof. I am the standard, and the standard does not negotiate. You do not shout these lines, you do not perform them. You state them with the calm certainty of someone reading a legal contract they have already signed. These are not aspirations. These are descriptions of who you are becoming, one repetition at a time. The mirror does not lie. It reflects. If you cannot hold your own gaze while you say these words, you are not ready to hold the gaze of the world when it tests you. Practice here first. Master the interior before you step into the exterior. The system of possession is simple. Every week, you claim 1 hour that becomes an asset, not an expense. Monday morning, you write one piece of content that works for you while you sleep. Tuesday evening, you build one connection that opens 3 doors you cannot yet see. Wednesday afternoon, you refine one process that saves you 10 hours next month. This is not busy work. This is architecture. You are building a structure that produces value whether you are present or not. Wealth is not about working harder. It is about building systems that multiply your effort, that turn 1 hour into 10, that turn one action into 100 results. You do not wait until you feel ready. You do not wait until the conditions are perfect. You start now with what you have in the state you are in. The system does not require perfection. It requires motion. Every week, 1 asset. Every month, 4 assets. Every quarter, 12 assets. By the end of 90 days, you will have built something that generates momentum independent of your daily effort. That is possession. That is the shift from trading time for money to building value that compounds. The beggar works for wages. The master builds equity. The beggar asks, "How much will I get paid for this hour?" The master asks, "How many hours will this asset pay me back?" That is the question that separates those who remain employees of their own life from those who become architects of wealth. You are not here to trade your time for survival. You are here to build something that outlives your effort, that grows while you sleep, that turns discipline into dividends. The objections will come. They always do. Not from the world, but from the voice inside you that has kept you small for years. It will whisper that this is too much, that you are not the kind of person who does things like this, that you should wait until circumstances improve. That voice is not wisdom. It is fear dressed in the costume of reason, and you must learn to recognize it for what it is. The moment you commit to the ritual, the moment you decide that the next 30 days will be different, that voice will get louder. It will offer you 1,000 logical reasons to delay, to modify, to soften the commitment. Do not listen. That voice has been your advisor for years, and look where it has brought you. You will say, "I am not a morning person. I cannot do this ritual at dawn." Then do it at noon. Do it at midnight. The time is less important than the consistency. But know this, the morning is sacred because it is unconquered territory. The world has not yet made its demands. Your attention is still yours. If you cannot claim the morning, you are already playing defense. You are already reacting. The evening ritual is recovery. The morning ritual is preparation. If you insist on skipping the morning, you are insisting on starting every day from behind. You will say, "What if I miss a day? Does that mean I failed?" Missing one day does not end the cycle. It reveals whether you are serious. The amateur misses one day and uses it as permission to quit. The master misses one day and doubles down the next. The system is not fragile. It does not collapse because of one interruption. But if you miss one day and then decide the streak is broken, so you might as well stop, you were never committed to the outcome. You were committed to the feeling of an unbroken streak, which is vanity, not discipline. Get back on the path. Do not explain. Do not apologize to yourself. Just continue. You will say, "This feels mechanical." Where is the soul in all this structure? The soul is in the freedom that discipline creates. You think spontaneity is soulful, but spontaneity without foundation is just chaos, pretending to be creativity. The artist who practices scales for 10,000 hours is free to improvise in ways the untrained musician cannot imagine. The structure is not the prison. The structure is the foundation of the cathedral. Inside that structure, you are free to build something extraordinary. Without it, you are just stacking stones in the mud, hoping they do not collapse. You will say, "I have responsibilities. I have people depending on me. I cannot be selfish with my time like this. This is not selfishness. This is maintenance. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. If you do not fortify yourself first, you will have nothing of value to give anyone else. The people depending on you do not need your exhaustion. They need your clarity. They need your strength. They need the version of you that has taken 11 minutes to center, to align, to remember what the law is. When you skip the ritual to serve others, you are not being noble. You are being careless with the one resource they actually need from you, your presence, your power, your unshakable certainty. Protect the ritual, and you protect everyone who relies on you. You will say, "I am afraid this will not work for me. I am afraid I am the exception, the one person for whom the law does not apply." You are not special. That is good news. The law is universal. It does not care about your history. It does not care about your excuses. It does not grade on a curve. You are subject to the same mechanics as everyone who has ever built wealth, and that means you have access to the same levers. Your fear is not evidence that you are broken. It is evidence that you are awake. Fear only arrives when the stakes are real. If you feel it, that means you know this matters. Use it. Do not let it stop you. Let it sharpen you. The voices will continue. They will morph. They will find new angles. But you will have the ritual, And the ritual does not argue, it simply executes. Every morning the same sequence, every evening the same audit. The repetition will bore the objections to death. They will lose their power because they will realize you are not listening anymore. You are not debating. You are moving, and movement does not require their permission. Now we enter the territory of silence, not the silence of the morning, but the silence of the interior during motion. You are in the middle of the day. The pressure is rising. The deadline is approaching. The client is upset. The deal is stalling. The world is loud, chaotic, demanding. And you, in the center of it, must find the eye of the storm. This is the second kind of silence, the one that does not require isolation. It requires mastery. You do not leave the room. You do not close your eyes. You simply drop beneath the noise, into the place where the ritual lives, and you remember what you declared this morning. I am the standard. The chaos does not change that. The pressure does not revoke it. You are still the law, even when the world is testing whether you mean it. Feel your feet on the ground. 30 seconds, that is all. The noise continues around you, but you are no longer caught in it. You are observing it from a place of stillness. Your breath slows, your shoulders drop. The tightness in your chest releases. You are not escaping the moment. You are reclaiming your authority within it. This is the practice of presence under fire, and it is the skill that separates those who collapse when stakes are high from those who thrive. The beggar panics. The master breathes. The beggar reacts. The master responds. The difference is not talent. It is training. You will practice this in small moments first. The email that irritates you. The interruption that derails your focus. The unexpected problem that threatens your timeline. Before you react, you pause. 3 breaths. You feel your body. You remember the law. Then you respond. Not from emotion, but from alignment. The response is calm, precise, unshakable. Over time, this becomes automatic. The pause becomes instant. The alignment becomes effortless. You no longer have to think about it. Your nervous system simply defaults to mastery instead of panic. And that shift alone is worth more than any strategy you could ever learn. The third kind of silence is the silence of the evening. The day is over. You did not win every battle. Some things went wrong. Some opportunities slipped. Some conversations ended poorly. The evening silence is where you release all of it. You do not carry the day into the night. You do not replay the mistakes, rehearsing shame, building a case against yourself. You breathe. You write the one piece of evidence. You acknowledge what worked. Then you let the rest go. Tomorrow is a new field. The law does not punish you for today's failures. It simply asks whether you will show up again tomorrow. If the answer is yes, the law continues to work. If the answer is no, the law stops. It is that simple. The cycle is designed to protect you from yourself. The morning ritual prevents you from starting in chaos. The midday silence prevents you from staying in chaos. The evening audit prevents you from ending in chaos. You are building a fortress of clarity, and every day that fortress becomes harder to breach. The world will still test you. Pressure will still arrive. But you will no longer be fragile. You will no longer break under weight. You will bend, adjust, adapt, and then you will return to center. That return is the proof of mastery, not the absence of struggle, but the speed of recovery. There is a moment in every cycle where the law becomes visible. It does not announce itself. It does not arrive with fanfare. It is quiet, almost invisible, and if you are not paying attention, you will miss it. This is the moment when the magnet pulls. You are in a conversation, and suddenly the person says something that opens a door you did not know existed. You are reviewing your inbox, and an opportunity appears from a connection you made months ago. You are walking through your day, and a thought strikes with perfect clarity, showing you the exact next step. This is not coincidence. This is the law responding to the signal you have been broadcasting through the ritual. Most people miss these moments because they are not auditing. They are not collecting evidence. The opportunity arrives, and they think it is luck, so they do not honor it. They do not act on it with the full force of their conviction. They hesitate, second guess, wait to see if it is real, and the window closes. You will not make that mistake. You are tracking, you are watching, you are ready. When the magnet pulls, you move immediately, not because you are impulsive, but because you have been preparing for this exact moment every single morning for the last 30 days. The opportunity does not surprise you. It confirms what you already knew. The law works, and you are aligned with it. The partnership with the universe is not passive. It is not sitting and waiting for signs. It is moving, as if the outcome is already guaranteed, and watching as reality rearranges itself to match your certainty. You do not ask the universe for permission. You do not beg for proof. You declare the outcome, you take the first step, and you trust that the next step will appear, because that is how the law operates. Faith is not belief without evidence. Faith is action without guarantee. You move first. The proof follows. That is the sequence, and it never reverses. You are not doing this alone, but you are doing it first. The universe is your partner, not your servant. It does not take orders. It matches frequency. If you emit the frequency of doubt, of hesitation, of "I hope this works," the universe reflects that back as delay, as obstacle, as resistance. If you emit the frequency of certainty, of "This is already done, I am just walking through the steps," the universe reflects that back as flow, as ease, as doors that open before you knock. You are not manipulating reality. You are aligning with it. There is a current moving through all things, and you are learning to position yourself in that current instead of fighting against it. The system of possession expands now. You have built one asset per week for the first month. 30 days, 4 assets. Now you audit those assets. Which one produced the most value? Which one opened the most doors? You double down on that one. You do not scatter your attention equally across all 4. You identify the lever with the highest return, and you pull that lever harder. This is not abandoning the other 3. This is recognizing that not all motion is equal. Some actions produce 10 times the result of others, and your job is to find those actions and repeat them relentlessly. By day 60, you will have 8 assets. By day 90, you will have 12. But more importantly, you will have clarity. You will know which type of motion produces wealth in your specific context, with your specific skills, in your specific market. You are not guessing anymore. You are not hoping. You are operating from data, from evidence, from the cold audit of what actually works. The beggar tries everything and masters nothing. The master tries everything once, identifies what works, and then becomes relentless. That is the system. That is the architecture of compounding. The wealth you are building is not visible yet. That will frustrate you. You will look at your account on day 15 and see the same number you saw on day 1, and doubt will whisper that this is not working. Do not listen. Wealth does not appear on your schedule. It appears on the law's schedule, and the law operates on a threshold system, not a linear progression. You are filling a reservoir. Every morning ritual is another drop. Every evening audit is another drop. Every moment of silence under pressure is another drop. The reservoir does not overflow on day 3, or day 7, or even day 20. It overflows when it is full, and you do not get to decide when that moment arrives. Your only job is to keep filling it. The people around you will not understand. They will see you wake earlier. They will see you guard your time with unusual firmness. They will notice that you are less reactive, less available for gossip, less willing to engage in the noise. Some will respect it. Most will resent it. They will call you obsessed, rigid, cold. Let them. Their opinion is not relevant to the law. They are operating inside a different system, one where comfort is the goal and discipline is the enemy. You are no longer in that system. You have chosen a different path, one where temporary discomfort buys permanent freedom. They will not join you, and that is fine. You are not building this for consensus. You are building this for result. There will be a moment, probably around day 18 or 19, when the ritual feels heavy. Not difficult, but heavy. You will wake up and the thought of going through the sequence again will feel like lifting stones. This is not failure. This is the test. The ritual is checking whether you are serious or whether you were just chasing a feeling. Feelings are weather. They change by the hour. Commitment is architecture. It does not change because the wind shifted. On day 19, when the ritual feels heavy, you do it anyway. Not because it feels good, because you said you would. That day, that single decision to move when motivation is absent, is worth more than 10 days of enthusiastic compliance. That is the day you prove to yourself that you are no longer governed by emotion. You are governed by law. The visualization will evolve. In the first week, it is awkward. You close your eyes, and the scene feels distant, vague, like watching a movie on a screen too far away. You see yourself succeeding, but it does not feel real. You are performing the exercise because the ritual demands it, but you are not convinced. That is normal. Keep going. By the second week, the scene becomes sharper. You can see details now, the texture of the table, the expression on the other person's face, the light coming through the window. It is still distant, but less so. By the third week, something shifts. You are no longer watching the scene. You are inside it. You feel the chair beneath you. You hear the words being spoken. The emotion is real, immediate, undeniable. This is when the visualization becomes installation. You are no longer imagining success. You are rehearsing it at the neurological level, and your body is learning to expect it. When the external result finally arrives, and it will, you will not be surprised. You will not celebrate with shock or disbelief. You will simply nod, because this is what you have been seeing every morning for 30 days. The universe is not giving you something new. It is catching up to the frequency you have been holding. The beggar is shocked by success because success is foreign to their identity. The master receives success calmly because success is the confirmation of what they already knew. This is the shift the ritual creates. You stop hoping for wealth and start expecting it, not because you are arrogant, but because you have done the work that makes wealth inevitable. The partnership with the universe deepens through sacrifice. Not the sacrifice of suffering, but the sacrifice of lesser things. You will be invited to distractions, opportunities that look good on the surface but do not align with the law, relationships that are comfortable but do not challenge you to grow, habits that feel safe but keep you small. The universe will test whether you are willing to release what is merely good in order to make space for what is great. Most people fail this test because they cannot let go. They try to carry everything, to keep all options open, to avoid the discomfort of choice. But the law requires focus. It requires that you burn the ships, that you close the exits, that you commit fully to the path you have chosen. When you do, the universe stops testing and starts delivering. The audit on Sunday at 6 in the evening is not a formality. It is surgery. You sit down with the week and you dissect it without mercy. How many days did you complete the morning ritual? How many days did you visualize with full emotion? How many days did you collect evidence in the evening? The numbers do not lie. If you completed 6 out of 7, that is 86% adherence. You are on track. If you completed 4 out of 7, that is 57%. You are not on track. You are pretending. The audit forces you to confront the gap between who you said you would be and who you actually were. That gap is where growth happens, not in the shame of the gap, but in the decision to close it. If the adherence is low, you do not collapse. You adjust. Maybe the trigger for the morning ritual needs to change. Maybe you are trying to do it after checking your phone, and by then the world has already claimed your attention. Move the ritual earlier. Make it the first thing before anything else touches your mind. Maybe the evening audit is happening too late, when you are exhausted and resentful. Move it earlier. Do it at 7 instead of 9. The system is not fragile, but it is precise. Small adjustments in timing, in environment, in sequence can mean the difference between 85% adherence and 60% adherence. You are not looking for perfection. You are looking for the conditions that make consistency effortless. The rhythm of 30, 60, 90 is not arbitrary. 30 days installs the mechanics. You learn the sequence. You memorize the steps. The ritual becomes familiar. 60 days installs the identity. You are no longer someone trying to be disciplined. You are someone who is disciplined. The shift is internal, invisible to others, but you feel it. By day 60, skipping the ritual feels wrong, unnatural, like leaving the house without clothes. 90 days installs the inevitability. The results are visible now. The magnet has pulled multiple times. The evidence is undeniable. You are no longer operating on faith. You are operating on proof. The law works, not because you believe in it, but because you have seen it work, repeatedly, measurably, undeniably. The mirror work is the most uncomfortable part of the ritual for most people. Standing there, looking at yourself, speaking declarations that feel too bold, too certain, too final, you will want to look away. You will want to soften the words, to add qualifiers, to make them safer. Do not. The mirror does not care about your comfort. It reflects. If you cannot hold your own gaze while declaring your authority, you will never hold the gaze of the investor, the client, the partner who is deciding whether to trust you. The mirror is practice. It is the low-stakes rehearsal for the high-stakes moments that are coming. You are teaching your nervous system to tolerate the discomfort of certainty, to hold the frequency of command, even when it feels foreign. The 11 lines are not poetry. They are not meant to be beautiful. They are meant to be true. I am the one who keeps my word. That is not a wish. That is a description of the person you are becoming through the ritual. Every time you complete the morning sequence, you are keeping your word. Every time you audit on Sunday, you are keeping your word. The repetition of the line is not creating the truth. It is reinforcing the truth that is already being built through your actions. By day 30, when you say, I am the one who keeps my word, there will be 30 pieces of evidence supporting that claim. The words are not empty. They are documentation. I am the one who does not break under pressure. This line will be tested. Pressure will arrive, probably in the second week, when you are tired and the ritual still feels mechanical. Pressure will arrive when the result you expected does not show up on the timeline you imagined. Pressure will arrive when someone questions your new habits, mocks your discipline, suggests that you are overdoing it. In those moments, you will remember the line. You will remember that you declared it in the mirror, with your own eyes watching, and you will choose not to break. Not because you are strong, but because you said you would not break, and your word is law. I am the one who commands my mind before the world commands my time. This is the essence of the morning ritual. The world will always try to command your time. It will always have urgencies, crises, demands that feel more important than your 11 minutes. If you give in, if you let the world set the agenda, you will spend your entire life reacting. The morning ritual is the declaration that your agenda comes first. Not because you are selfish, but because you know that without the ritual, you have nothing of value to offer the world. You cannot lead from a place of chaos. You cannot build from a place of reaction. The ritual creates the center, and from that center, you engage the world on your terms, not theirs. I am the one who moves when others wait. Waiting is the religion of the mediocre. They wait for permission, for the right time, for certainty, for proof. They wait until the path is clear, until the risk is gone, until someone else goes first. The master does not wait. The master moves, and the path clears in response to the motion. You are not waiting for 30 days to see if this works. You are moving for 30 days, and the work is happening whether you see it or not. The faith is in the motion, not in the visible result. The result is the byproduct. The motion is the cause. I am the one who declares and then acts. Most people act and then declare, hoping the action will justify the declaration. That is backwards. The declaration comes first. It sets the frequency. It creates the field. Then the action follows, aligned with the declaration, reinforcing it, making it material. You do not wait to feel wealthy before you declare wealth. You declare wealth, and then you act as someone wealthy would act, and the feeling follows the action. The sequence is everything. Declare, act, become, not become, declare, act. The law does not reward those who wait for transformation before they move. It rewards those who move as if the transformation has already happened. I am the one who does not beg for permission. This will be the hardest line for some. You have spent years asking for permission. Permission to take up space. Permission to want more. Permission to believe you are capable of greatness. The ritual ends that. You are no longer asking. You are no longer waiting for someone to tell you that you are ready, that you are worthy, that you are allowed. You are declaring it, and the declaration is final. The world will adjust. Some will resist. Let them. Their resistance is not a referendum on your worth. It is a reflection of their discomfort with your certainty. I am the one who partners with power, not with fear. Fear will offer you a partnership every single day. It will promise to keep you safe, to protect you from failure, to shield you from judgment. But fear does not protect. It imprisons. It keeps you small, keeps you hidden, keeps you from ever testing the limits of what you are capable of. Power offers a different partnership. It does not promise safety. It promises growth. It does not promise comfort. It promises mastery. When you partner with power, you accept that discomfort is the price of expansion, that failure is the tuition for wisdom, that judgment is irrelevant when you are aligned with the law. You choose power over fear every morning, in the mirror, until the choice becomes automatic. I am the one who sees opportunity as inevitable, not as luck. Luck is what people call the law when they do not understand how it works. They see someone succeed and call it luck because they cannot see the years of preparation, the thousands of small decisions, the relentless adherence to a system that eventually produced the visible result. You will not make that mistake. When opportunity arrives, you will recognize it as the inevitable consequence of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days of alignment. You will not be grateful to chance. You will be grateful to the law. And you will honor it by acting immediately, by treating the opportunity with the seriousness it deserves, by moving as if you expected it all along, because you did. I am the one who audits without mercy and adjusts without excuses. The audit is not punishment, it is precision. You are not sitting in judgment of yourself, cataloging failures, building a case for why you are broken. You are simply looking at the data. What worked? What did not? Where did the system break down? The audit is emotionless, clinical, focused entirely on improving the next cycle. When you find a weakness, you do not defend it. You do not explain why it happened. You adjust. You change the variable. You test the new approach. The audit is how you turn experience into wisdom, how you ensure that every week is smarter than the last. I am the one who builds in silence and emerges with proof. The world does not need to know what you are doing. The world does not need updates, progress reports, explanations of your process. The world needs results. You are not building this for applause. You are building this for possession. The 30 days happen in private. The transformation happens in private. The ritual happens in private. Then, on day 31, you emerge, and the proof is undeniable. The opportunities have shifted. The energy has changed. The results are visible. You do not need to announce what you did. The evidence speaks. That is the power of silence. It removes the need for validation. It removes the temptation to perform. You are free to do the work without the weight of an audience, and when the work is done, the audience finds you. I am the standard, and the standard does not negotiate. This is the final line, the one that contains all the others. You are not one option among many. You are not competing for a seat at a table someone else built. You are the table. You are the standard by which all else is measured. not because you are arrogant, but because you have done the work that earns that authority. You have kept your word for 30 days. You have mastered your mind. You have moved when others waited. You have partnered with power. You have audited without mercy. You have built in silence. You are no longer asking the world to recognize your value. You are declaring it, and the declaration is backed by evidence. The standard does not negotiate because it does not need to. It simply is, and the world adjusts accordingly. The system of possession reaches full maturity now. You have 12 assets. You have data on which types of motion produce wealth in your specific context. Now you build the weekly cycle that turns hours into recurring value. Monday is creation day. You produce one piece of content, one connection, one process improvement that works while you sleep. Tuesday is refinement day. You take last week's best asset and make it better. You add clarity. You add distribution. You add leverage. Wednesday is audit day. You review the numbers. You track what worked. You identify the patterns. Thursday is expansion day. You take the asset that produced the highest return and you replicate it. You do not invent something new. You do the same thing again in a slightly different context, and you watch the compounding begin. Friday is relationship day. You reach out to 3 people who are one level above where you currently stand, not to ask for anything, not to pitch, simply to add value, to offer insight, to demonstrate that you are someone worth knowing. One of those 3 will respond. One of those 3 will open a door. You do not know which one, so you treat all 3 with equal seriousness. Saturday is rest, but rest is not collapse. Rest is strategic recovery. You review the week. You acknowledge what you built. You let the nervous system reset so that Monday you are sharp, focused, ready to create again. Sunday is the audit at 6 in the evening, the cold review of adherence, the adjustment of variables, the preparation for the next cycle. This is not a hustle. This is architecture. You are not grinding. You are building a structure that produces value whether you are present or not. The beggar works every hour and wonders why the account does not grow. The master works strategically, builds assets, and watches the account grow even during rest. The difference is not effort. The difference is structure. You are no longer trading time for money. You are building systems that multiply time, that turn 1 hour of focus into 10 hours of result, that create momentum independent of your daily effort. By day 60, the structure is visible. You can see the pattern. You can feel the compounding. The opportunities that arrive are no longer random. They are clustered. They are connected. They are responding to the signal you have been broadcasting through the ritual and reinforced through the weekly system. You are no longer hoping for a breakthrough. You are engineering it, 1 week at a time, 1 asset at a time, 1 relationship at a time. The beggar prays for luck. The master builds the conditions that make luck inevitable. By day 90, the identity is locked. You are no longer someone trying to attract wealth. You are someone who attracts wealth as a natural consequence of who you have become. The ritual is no longer a practice. It is your operating system. Skipping it would feel like skipping a meal, like skipping sleep, unnatural, uncomfortable, dangerous. The audit is no longer a chore. It is a conversation with the law, a weekly check-in where you review the evidence and adjust the approach. The system of possession is no longer a project. It is your life. You are no longer building assets on the side. You are living inside a structure designed to produce compounding value, and everything you touch becomes part of that structure. The magnet has pulled multiple times by now. You have seen it. The email that arrived at the exact right moment. The conversation that opened a door you did not know existed. The insight that struck with perfect clarity and showed you the next step. You have collected the evidence. You have written it down. You have 30 pieces of proof, 60 pieces of proof, 90 pieces of proof that the law works. Doubt has nowhere left to hide. You are no longer operating on faith. You are operating on data. The law is not a belief system, it is a mechanics system. You input the right variables, consciousness, ritual, partnership, and the output is inevitable. Wealth is not a mystery, it is a result. The fear that you are the exception, that the law will not work for you, has dissolved. Not because you convinced yourself it was irrational, but because you tested it and the test returned proof. You moved, and the world moved in response. You declared, and the opportunities aligned. You partnered with power, and power delivered. The evidence is undeniable now. You are not special in a way that exempts you from the law. You are subject to the law like everyone else, which means you have access to the same levers, the same mechanics, the same guarantees. If you align, the law responds. That is not a promise. That is a description of how reality operates. The people around you have noticed. They do not understand what changed, but they feel it. You are calmer. You are clearer. You are less reactive, less desperate, less available for the noise. Some will ask what you did. Most will not. They will simply adjust their behavior around you, giving you more respect, more space, more authority without you asking for it. This is the external confirmation of the internal shift. You did not become louder. You became quieter. You did not become more aggressive. You became more certain. And certainty is magnetic in a way that aggression never will be. The world does not bow to force. It bows to alignment. The transition from day 90 to day 91 is critical. This is where most people stop. They hit the milestone, they see the result, and they think the work is done. The ritual becomes optional. The audit becomes sporadic. The system of possession becomes a memory of something they used to do. Within 2 weeks, they are back where they started, wondering why the momentum disappeared. Do not make that mistake. Day 91 is not the end. It is the beginning of the second cycle. You are no longer installing the system. You are living inside it. The ritual is not a project. It is your life. The audit is not a checkpoint. It is a weekly conversation with the law. The system of possession is not something you built. It is who you are now. The second cycle is refinement. You know what works? You have data. Now you optimize. You strip away anything that does not produce value. You double down on the levers that produce the highest return. You stop experimenting and start executing with precision. The first 90 days were exploration. The second 90 days are exploitation. You are no longer searching for the path. You are walking it with increasing speed, increasing confidence, increasing certainty. The compounding accelerates. The results that took 30 days in the first cycle take 15 days in the second. The opportunities that arrived once a month now arrive once a week. This is what mastery looks like. Not the absence of effort, but the multiplication of result per unit of effort. There will be a moment, probably in the second cycle, when you realize that wealth is not the goal. Wealth is the byproduct. The goal is mastery. The goal is the transformation of your identity from someone who hopes to someone who commands. The goal is the shift from reactive to proactive, from dependent to sovereign, from fragile to unbreakable. Wealth is simply the evidence that the transformation occurred. It is the confirmation that you became someone the universe recognizes as aligned with power. When you realize this, the pressure lifts. You are no longer chasing wealth. You are simply living in alignment, and wealth is arriving as a natural consequence. That shift, that release of desperation, is the final unlock. That is when the law stops feeling like work and starts feeling like flow. Now we close. Not with a summary, but with a command. You have read this far, which means something in you recognized the truth of what was said. Something in you knows that you are capable of more than you have been living. Something in you is tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of watching others build while you stand still. That something is correct. You are capable. You are ready. But capability and readiness mean nothing without motion. The time for thinking is over. The time for action is now. I am done waiting. I am done negotiating with myself about whether this is the right time. whether I am ready, whether this will work. I am tired of doubt. I am tired of the voice that tells me to wait, to be cautious, to protect myself from disappointment. That voice has kept me small for too long. I reject it. I choose the law. I choose alignment. I choose the ritual, the audit, the system, the partnership with power. I do not do this because I feel ready. I do this because I said I would, and my word is law. I swear to complete the 30 days. I swear to execute the morning ritual, the evening audit, the Sunday review. I swear to collect the evidence, to track the magnet, to honor the opportunities when they arrive. I swear to move when others wait, to declare when others doubt, to build when others complain. This is my oath, and I will not break it. Before this day ends, you will complete the first habit, the habit of silence. You will find 11 minutes. You will turn off the phone. You will close the door. You will sit and you will speak the command phrase 3 times. I am the standard. You will feel it. You will mean it. You will let it settle into your nervous system like a stone dropped into still water. That is the beginning. That is the first motion. Everything else will follow, but only if you move now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel more prepared. Now, the universe is not impressed by intention. It is only impressed by motion. Move, and the law will respond. Wait, and nothing changes. This is not a request. This is an order. You are giving this order to yourself, and you will obey it because your obedience to your own command is the only currency the universe accepts as payment. Wealth does not bow to need. It does not bow to desire. It bows to authority, and authority begins with your ability to command yourself. If you cannot make yourself execute an 11-minute ritual, you will never command the attention of investors, clients, partners, or the opportunities that create wealth. The test is simple. The stakes are absolute. Execute the first habit today, or admit that you are not serious. There is no middle ground. Like this content. Subscribe to this channel. The only law here is the authority over yourself, and that authority is proven through action, not through agreement. You do not need to believe this will work. You need to do it and watch the evidence accumulate. 30 days from now, you will either have proof or you will have excuses. The difference is motion. The difference is whether you kept your word when no one was watching, when the result was not yet visible, when the path was still dark. That is the price. That is the cost of mastery. Pay it now, or pay the higher price of regret later. The vision is clear. You, 90 days from now, standing in a room where opportunity has arrived not once but repeatedly. You are calm. You are certain. You are no longer hoping the deal closes. You are watching it close because you moved as if it was already closed. You are no longer asking for respect. You are receiving it because your frequency commands it. You are no longer chasing wealth. You are selecting from the opportunities that have pulled toward you like iron to a magnet. This is not fantasy. This is the inevitable result of alignment, of ritual, of partnership with the law. The path is drawn. The mechanics are clear. The only question is whether you will walk it. The altar of command is open. The sacrifice has been named. 11 minutes every morning, 3 minutes every evening, 1 hour every Sunday, 30 days of unbroken adherence. That is the offering. That is what the law requires. Give it, and the law delivers. Withhold it, and the law remains silent. The choice is yours, but the choice must be made now. Delay is a decision. Hesitation is a vote for the status quo. You have spent enough time in the status quo. You know what it produces. If you want something different, you must become someone different. The ritual is the mechanism. The audit is the proof. The system is the structure. Together, they transform identity, and identity determines destiny. Begin. Now. Today. This moment. Close this screen. Find the 11 minutes. Speak the phrase. Feel the shift. Collect the first piece of evidence tonight. Audit on Sunday. Repeat for 30 days. Do not stop. Do not negotiate. Do not soften the commitment. The world is waiting for someone who will not break, who will not quit, who will not compromise. Be that person. The law will recognize you. Wealth will bow to you. Power will partner with you. And 90 days from now, you will look back at this moment and know with absolute certainty that this was the day everything changed, not because of what you read, but because of what you did. Move. Now. The altar is waiting.